For today's video, we are starting our new unit by talking about mean, mode, median, mode, and range. So our learning target is I can find the mean, median, mode, and range of a data set. Please write down the date that you're watching this video. Write down what you already know, and you may know things. You may have heard of the mean, the median, the mode, and the range before in earlier classes. If so, you can write about that. And if you don't know about those things, maybe you've heard of one of them, maybe you know what data is, maybe you know what a set is. There's a lot of words in this that you can try to write what you know about. Then we have quite a few vocab words today. Our first one is mean. Mean is the average. You find that by adding all numbers together, then divide by how many numbers there are. Next is the median. The median is the middle number. You put the numbers in order from least to greatest, then find the one in the middle. The mode, that is the number that occurs most often in the data set. The range is how far apart numbers are. You do the biggest minus the smallest. The maximum is the biggest number, and then please add minimum. I forgot to put that on there when I typed it up, but please write it on there. The minimum is the smallest number. So please pause the video at this point, get all of these things written down. Your learning target date, I know, and then all of the vocabulary. So pause the video here, get all that written down, and restart when you're ready to go. So the first part of our new Unit 7 here is data analysis. So data analysis is using these things, the mean, median, mode, range, and the max and min, to examine a set of numbers and make conclusions about them. So we're going to start by looking at this data set here, and we are going to use that, and we are going to practice finding the mean, median, mode, range, maximum, and minimum. So to find the mean, you add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are. So in this case, we would do 0 plus 33 plus 100 plus 45 plus 66 plus 71 plus 88 plus 90. Please use your calculator. You do not need to be sitting and adding and adding and adding forever and ever. And we take all of those and we divide them by how many numbers there are. So counting, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. So I'm going to divide all of that by 8. So when I add up all those numbers on the top using my calculator, I get 493. And I still need to divide that by 8. When I do that, I get 61.625. And that is the mean. Next, we want to find the median. For the median, and I put the directions for this, for the median, we put the numbers in order from least to greatest, then find the one in the middle. So for the median, we first put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So the smallest number in the set is 0. Next is 33. Next is 45. 66. 71. 88. 90. And 100. So the next thing I do is I go and I cross off one from each side. Now I cross off one from each side again. And I'm going to keep going in pairs until, oh, I need to find one in the middle, but I have here 2 in the middle. If there was another number right here, then that number would be the median, but there isn't. So instead, to find the median, we are going to do the average of these two numbers, 66 plus 71 divided by 2, which is 68.5. That is my median. Again, if there had been a number that was directly in the middle, that number would have been the median all by itself. But because that didn't happen, since there were two numbers in the middle, I just added them up and divided by 2. That gives me the median. Next is the mode. The mode is the number that occurs most often. In this data set, all of my numbers only occur one time. That means that I have no mode because no numbers are repeated. Next, I'm going to do the range. The range we looked at up here. The range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. Okay? I already put the numbers in order to find the median. So I don't know the biggest number is 100 and the smallest number is 0. 100 minus 0, that's just 100. And then for my maximum and minimum, that's very simple. My maximum is the biggest number, 100, and my minimum is the smallest number, which is 0. And that's how I find those values. So what I would like you to do now is go in and see if you can find the median, mode, range, maximum, and minimum of this data set. So pause the video here, see if you can find all of those, and then restart the video and check your work when you're done. Okay? Hopefully you've done that. So now I'll go through and we will do our answers. For the mean, if we add up all the numbers and divide by how many numbers there are, which is 10, then we get the number 5.2. For the median, if we put the numbers in order from least to greatest, we have 10 total numbers. So our middle numbers will be 5 and 6. 5 plus 6 divided by 2 is 5.5, and that will be our median. For the mode, we want the number that occurs most often. In this case, I see that the number 6 occurred 3 times. The number 5 occurred twice, and everything else just happened once. That means that the number 6 is my mode. For my range, I want the biggest number minus the smallest number. The biggest number is 8. The smallest number is 2. That gives me a range of 6. And then my maximum was the biggest number, 8. And my minimum was the smallest number, 2. Hopefully those answers match up the answers you got when you did the same thing. If not, please make sure you listen to how I described how to do the problem, or go back and watch the first example problem again. The next problem, our data set is displayed a little bit differently. So here we have a chart. And it says, how many books did 6th graders at Taylor Middle School read this summer? And we have circles on this chart. And these circles each represent how many books one student read. So for example, that dot right there tells me that one 6th grader read 1 book. Then I have another dot because another 6th grader read 1 book. So each of these dots represent a number. So we can go ahead and fill in all of the data points. So the number 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So 2, 2, 2, 2. 3, 3, 3. 4, 4. 5. 6. 11. And 21. Now I can use this list of numbers right here to find the mean, median, mode, range, maximum, and minimum. So pause the video, see if you can find all those values, and then restart when you're ready to go. All right, so this case, to find the mean, we add up all those numbers, and then there are 15 total numbers, so we divide that by 15, And you should have gotten the number 4.6 repeating. For the median, this time there's an odd number of numbers. So if we cross off from each side, we end up with just one number left by itself in the middle, and then that will be the number 3. The mode is the number that occurs most often, and we can actually see that in this graph right here. There's more 2's than there are anything else. The number 2 occurs 4 times. So the mode is the number 2. Our range is the biggest number minus the smallest. That's 21 minus 1, or 20. Then my maximum is just 21, and my minimum is 1. Those are the biggest and smallest values. So that's how we can use a dot plot and just turn that into a list of numbers and then find the same data. But the reason we really care about all of this is because it's going to let us solve problems. So we're going to use this to analyze the data and make decisions about it. So we have a couple problems where we're going to do that. And then your next video, you're going to be doing that even more. So looking at this next problem, Fred and Harry work in a factory making car parts. The table shows how many parts they make. So we want to find Fred's mean, Fred's range, Harry's mean, and Harry's range. So for Fred's mean, we're going to add up all those numbers and divide by 5. For Harry's mean, we'll add up all those numbers and divide by 5. For their ranges, you will just subtract the largest number by the smallest number for each. So pause the video now, see if you can do that, and then restart when you're ready to go. So hopefully you've done this. So for Fred's mean, we added 20, 21, 22, 20, and 21, divided that by 5, and we got 20.8. For Fred's range, we do 22 minus 20, and we get the number 2. For Harry's mean, we add up 30, 15, 12, 36, and 28, and we get the number 24.2. And for Harry's range, we do 36 minus 12, and we get a range of 24. Now we're going to use these numbers to make a decision about the question, who is the most consistent? The most consistent means the person who makes closest to the same number each day. Who can you count on to make approximately the same number each day? Well, the number that tells us that is the range. The most consistent will be the person whose range is smaller. So if I look, I see that Fred's range is 2 and Harry's range is 24. That means Fred, he has the smaller range, so Fred is the most consistent. Our next question is, who makes more parts? Who makes more parts will be the person with bigger average. If your average or mean is bigger, that means that you're making more parts. So this is going to be your check for this video. I want you to tell me which person, Fred or Harry, has a bigger mean. A bigger mean. And that will be your answer for your first check for this video. Harry or Fred is the only thing you need to put for whichever one has the bigger mean. Okay? Our last problem that we're going to look at, Adrian takes 4 tests and get the following scores: 65, 72, 58, and 77. So the first thing we're going to do is find his median and his mean. So pause the video here, see if you can do both of those things, and restart when you're ready. So hopefully you've done this by now. If so, you should have a median of 68.5. You would have had to add 65 and 72 and divide them by 2. And then his mean, if you add up 65, 72, 58, and 77, then divide by 4, you'll get 68. So here is my questions. If he scores 70 on his next test, will his mean increase or decrease? And if he scores 70 on his next test, will his median increase or decrease? So the way we want to look at this for the mean is we want to know, is this number 70 bigger or smaller than his current mean? Well, I see that the number 70 is bigger. So that means that his mean is going to increase. It's going to get bigger because we're adding a number bigger than the current mean. Will his median increase or decrease is a similar question. So we're going to look at his median. We're adding the number 70. And if 70 is bigger than the current median, it will increase. And if it's smaller, it will decrease. So this is your second answer that you're going to input. Is his median going to increase or decrease? And I just want the word increase or the word decrease. That is it. Okay? So this is your second question for your check. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to rewatch any parts of this video that you need. And have a great day.